The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever singing except old crows in the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before someone lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere? And from far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old once old still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock at his door. He said he stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffed moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometime he speaks, and tells how the Lorax was lifted away, and he tells you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snooze, his secret strange hole in his grooveless groove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slop. Down slips the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old onceler's whisper are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all starts way back, such a long, long time ago. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swalmy swans ran out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffalo trees, the bright-colored tufts in the truffalo trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about their barbaloot suits, as they play in the shade and ate truffalo fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those truffalo trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tusks was much softer than silk, and they had been sweet smell like fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffalo tree with one chop, and still skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and kneaded a need. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump, and looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of a tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish, and brownish and mosey, and spoke with a voice that was sharpish and posy. Bossy. Mister, he said with a dusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset. He shouted and puffed. What was that thing you've made out of my truffalo tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree, and I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. The thing is the need. A need is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you're crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that full Thanid. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong. For just that minute a champ came along, and he thought that the Thanid I knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I lifted the Lorax. You poor stupid guy, you never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room in no time at all, built a radiophone. I put it in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Mitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch.
And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown bear-baloots, who played in the shade in their bear-baloot suits, and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around. And my poor bear-baloots are getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad, and as I watched them all grow, but business and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more things, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs.
I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger. So bigger I got, I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of needs I snipped out. I was shipping them forth to south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right to the biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and snuffled, he snarled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a ruffless croak. Onceler, you're making such smuggless smoke. My poor swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about Glippity Glup. Your missionary chugs on day and night without stop, making glippity glop and schloppy schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more they can hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and hope woefully weary in search of some water that isn't too scary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring and biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone and everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From it outside in the fields came a snicketing smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smuggered stars. Now all that is left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance. He lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look he had on his face when he hesitated himself and took leave for this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I couldn't just guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of them all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.